Okay. Glad that it's Friday. It's kind of a rough week, whether you shuffled or not. So I'm not going to go overly hard today. There's no reason this week to go hard. Just keep feeling it out, and as we get deeper into the week and the weekend, hopefully we'll have some fuller recovery. So we're just going to start in child's pose. So remember, child's pose, your knees can be wide, your knees can be closed. You can have the arms stretched out. Of course, we want our, not just the breath relaxed to move into relaxation, but our thoughts as well. That'll help move that breath into relaxation. So the class I'm going to do is that fusion class where the majority of the chaturangas are taken out. And this helps make the class a little bit easier. There's a couple of chaturangas in there, and feel free to do them if you want to do them. So as you're ready, curling your toes under, lifting up your hips, straightening out your legs, moving into down dog. Feeling free to pedal, to kick, or twist. Again, we're releasing some of that superficial tension. Never be afraid about moving around in a yoga posture. It's perfectly fine. You may need to take a wider stance with the hands. You may need to take a wider stance with the feet. It does help out. And then inhale, push back. Exhale, walk or jump your feet to your hands. Feet are about hips width apart, getting into chest and shoulders, getting bend and straight those arms. Move around, that mindfully moving. Take the backs of the hands to the floor. Even though we're not going to address a whole lot of chaturangas, it's always a good idea to touch on them. It is very important to try to get the entire back of the hand to the floor, not just the fingers. You will not get a stretch in the forearm if it's just the fingers. So you may have to bend those knees substantially. And release the hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Arms out to the side, moving through the half lift. Contract the shoulders, squeeze those cheeks, push those hips forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Now this inhale, you're going to come up on top of the tippy toes. Bend the knees, drop the hips to your own unique degree. Feet can be together, feet can be apart. The first one, we'll just easily just keep the hands on the floor or wherever you need to be. Okay? You can also have blocks there or your water bottle to help you as well. Inhale, lift up the hips, straighten out the legs. Exhale, lower the heels and fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Hands out to the side, moving through the half lift. Contract the shoulder blades, squeeze those cheeks, push the hips forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, coming up on top of the tippy toes, bending the knees once again. Now, you may feel that this is it for you, and that's fine. If you want to take this further, you can bring the hands to the heart. You can still stay fairly compact if you want. not be able to get there, which was completely fine. And then taking the hands to the floor, and then we inhale, lifting up the hips, straighten out the legs, exhale, lower the hips and fold. Inhale, half lift, exhale, fold. Arms out to the side, moving through the half lift, track the shoulders, squeeze those cheeks, push the hips forward, exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift, exhale, fold. Inhale, coming up on top of the tippy toes, bending the knees, dropping the hips once again. And again, you're trying to find your place. That's it. Maybe it's here. Maybe it's here. Maybe it's here. Maybe it's here. Okay? It's not important to be where I have the posture. It's important to be where your body needs to be in the posture. And then hands back to the floor. And we inhale, lifting up the hips, straighten out the legs. Exhale, lower the heels and fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Bring the arms out to the side, moving through the half lift. Track the toes, squeeze those cheeks, push the hips forward. With this inhale, we're going to come back to center. And your hands are up over your head. I know you can't see that at the moment, so hang on. I changed my camera a smidge. Bring that up. Okay. All right, so you can interlace all the fingers except the index finger. Bring this up over your head. And we're just going to move and then stretch. So notice I'm driving this through my hips. I'm not just side bending from the top. We want to try to get as much as we can. Remember, the pelvis has a lot to do with this. The torso has a lot to do with this. You don't want to just leave anything out. You may feel that you want to come down. You can just explore it. Okay? Now we're going to come back to center. We engage the glutes, we slide the shoulders down the back. We're going to shift into the left leg, pushing the left hip out as you side bend to the right. Now, it's very common to drop your left shoulder, your top shoulder, to find that place. Try to bring that bottom shoulder back under. It's not about finding depth. There's a lot of strength behind this posture, in addition to a stretch. You may feel you need to bring those arms back a bit. Those glutes are active. And use those glutes, those abs to help pull you up. Shift into the left foot and push the left hip out. Sorry, the right hip as we side bend to the right or the left. Here we go, I'll get it together. Just mirror me, don't worry about if I'm saying left or right or not, if it's right or wrong. And release, coming back to center. Now we're going to hinge at the hips. Okay. Folding. Now we're going to release the hands. We're going to bend the knees so those knees touch the bottom part of the chest and the abdominals. If it's available, you'll cup the heels. If it's not available, you'll grab the ankles or the calves. But the idea here is compression. We're going to bring the elbows around. The idea again is compression, not hamstring flexibility. But if you keep your abdominals and that bottom part of the chest on the thighs, you can begin to bring the hips up to the point where you feel that you're going to lose contact. And just like anything else, everybody's got their own inputs. And release. need to do the hug, if you need to do the prayer, do it, okay? It's not important to get the bind. Lean into the right leg, pick up the left leg, and cross it over, okay? So we don't want to drop into that hip just to be able to get our legs crossed. You want to make sure that you pick up that hip. The hips do not tuck under. That puts too much stress into the knees and the back without the glutes being involved. So extend those hips back behind you. If your arms are in the bind, center them up on the face. Good. And we're going to release the leg. Send the leg back. Tense up the entire leg from the glute down. And begin to find what's called a flying eagle. Okay? It's not about being parallel. You may find that you only go partway down, just like for an airplane. Okay? Now, if the hip up, the angle I have, the mat is going to always make it look like it's open. Okay? You want to square those hips around. Okay? Now, we're going to unravel the arms, finding an airplane. So it's a really challenging angle that I set up at. And release, shaking it on out. And now, bend the knees, drop the hips, inhale into your Utkatasana, exhale, left arm underneath the right arm. Once again, find the appropriate arm position for you today. We lean into the left leg, pick up the right leg, cross it over. Good, and once again, we don't want to drop the hip. Make sure that hip is up. If your arms are in the bind, find squaring up to the best of your ability. The hips go out back behind you so they can take excessive loading away from the back, away from the knee. Good, and unraveling the leg. Tense up those legs, and then find your flying eagle. Remember, you can still do the hug. Maybe the toe needs to touch the floor. Squaring those hips around to the best of your ability. And then unwinding the arms, finding an airplane, and trying to square those hips around. And release. Come all the way up. All right. So we're going to bend the knees, drop the hips again. You're going to lean into your left leg. Draw the belly in. That left leg, right leg, sorry, pick up the right leg, get a hold of the knee. Use those glutes, those abs to help straighten out the leg. All right, you have options here. If this feels like a perfect option for you and you already feel as though you're at your edge here, just stay here. Next option, you can, if you want, you feel like it's appropriate, you can come down and get a hold of the foot. Also straighten out the leg. Or whatever straight looks like for you. Okay? And then we release, I'm only turning. You're going to open up the hand, find your foot, engage those glutes. We're just finding dancer, making sure the glutes are active, mainly for stabilizing the joint and to help with balance. And maybe this is all the farther you go. Maybe you can go a little further. And release. Keep challenging that balance and finding your tree. Okay? You have to stop and shake it out. your left leg's getting tired, struggling with balance, just rest. You've already come up to the edge. You can shake it out, re-engage everything, make sure the glutes are active. Make sure that you're looking straight ahead. I don't want you to find that focal point where the head is down to have balance. We don't want to create balance where we're looking down. We want to create balance where we're looking straight ahead. Whether the arms are at the heart, out, up, it's up to you. And release. Shaking it out. Nice. And now bend the knees, drop the hips again for your Utkatasana. Leaning into your right leg. Picking up your left leg. You need to use the abdominals. Get a hold of the knees. Use those glutes, those abs to get you to come out. Remember, you don't have to stay here if you feel as though you can't go further. Feel like you're at your edge, just stay here. Your edge will change on any given day depending on what has gone on in your world. Maybe you were the one shuffling. Maybe you fell. Alright? So there's lots of reasons why anybody will be in a certain point of the posture and not the same part of the posture on the next day. So we release the leg, we open up the hand, finding the foot. And again, we engage the glutes, draw the belly in, bring that arm up. And remember, if this is your edge for dancer, then this is dancer today. Go slow. If the body gets wobbly, that ankle needs you to slow down a little bit. Slow down. Remember, that's the point of class. Just to slow down a little bit. It's to communicate with that body and release. Finding retreat. It's not to force your body into doing things that you think it actually should be doing when it actually can today. Glutes, abs, up, back. You want to move from the center outward. Even though I might be cueing from the foot, stabilization comes from the center. Not just on the front, but on the back side and on the upper portion. And release, shaking it on out. All right, we're just going to bend the knees, drop the hips again. Now, when we do this option here, having the arms up over your head is actually the hardest option. So if you want to bring the arms down, you can bring the arms down. Okay? So what we're going to do is that you're going to shift your weight into the toes. Picking up the heels, drawing the belly in, sliding the shoulders down. Lift up the torso, let those knees go forward. They're allowed to go forward, as long as it doesn't hurt. Engage the glutes, lower abdominals, upper back, and you can find depth to your own degree here. Okay, so that's an okay movement to do. So we're going to find an inhale as you're ready to exhale. Hold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, look or jump back. Now, if you want to do the vinyasa, feel free. If you would rather skip it, just lift up the hips for down dog. Good. Inhale, your right leg up. Exhale, low lunge. We're going to ground the back foot into the floor. We engage the glutes, abs, pull you up. We're going to open up right away to warrior 2. Try to take off as much of your mat as possible. Try not to short stance this. You'll have a really difficult time finding length or finding depth. Okay? Re-engage the glutes, slide those shoulders down the back. If this is too much for your leg, you just simply back out of the depth of the lunge. Now we're going to inhale, reaching up for a reverse warrior. Going to re-engage the glutes and slide those shoulders down the back. That back hand, you can either reach to the back leg, you can wrap it around the waist, or going up the back. Now, re-engage the glutes, glutes out, straighten out the leg, and then finding triangle. You might need your block or your water bottle. You can have the hand on the inside of the foot, top up, or on the outside. It's more preference than anything else. Take a look down and forward. When you look down and forward, notice that the body puts itself back into that plane of flat. Take that top arm, reaching for the front of the room. Whatever the front of the room happens to be for you. Taking that top arm, reaching for the ceiling again. Re-engage the glutes, glutes out. If you want, pivot those right toes around. Hands to the waist. Inhale, lift and open. Exhale, fold forward. So remember, on this fold, feel free to explore various options. Also feel free to simply hang. And slide the shoulders down the back to help lift up that tailbone. Now inhale, half lift, exhale, fold. All right, so we're going to pivot back around towards the front of your mat. So as we pivot, what that will do, it will inevitably take your feet farther apart from each other and make it more of a balanced beat. So take your left foot and bring it in a bit, and then take it out to the left a little bit, or just come, or the right leg can do that as well. Then we're just going to fold over the front leg. So remember, you can explore this posture as well. You can shift your way into the back leg, lifting and opening up your left hip. You might feel this on the left lower back, the inside of the right hamstring, calf, various places. You can also begin to shift the weight forward, taking that left hip down and around. When you're trying to point that left hip towards the right side of the room, which will be a bigger pull on the right hip. Again, this might be a place where you have trouble getting your hands to the floor, the knee is bent, and that you may need to grab a block to help you with your fold here. Now, we're going to bring your hands in a prayer position in front of your right foot. You re-engage the glutes, glutes out. I'll pull you up to standing. Exhale, interlacing the hands back behind the back. We're going to ground over your right foot, picking up the left heel. Do your best to come up here. Engage glutes. Now, if having your arms back behind your back causes your arms to go to sleep, you may have to lift them higher, bend the arms, or just simply let that go. Okay? My arms will go to sleep. Okay? Because what's happening is that we are restricting the flow of the brachial nerve. So that would be a common response to the arms to be like they're going to sleep. Okay? And release the hands, finding your standing splits. And again, you might be the one that needs to block to help keep the legs straight. We want equal weight through that foot. We're going to slide the shoulders down back, reach the distance up the leg. And now bring your left foot to meet the right and fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, drop your hips. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale. Now remember, this is the hardest option. You may need to bring your arms forward, out to the side, somewhere. Okay, again, I'm just going to turn to the side so you can see. Okay, I'm still going to slide the shoulders down the back, draw the belly in, shifting the weight into the toes, picking up the heels, the hips still are back, but you can lift up the torso, which means the knees have to move forward, which is still okay. Make sure the glutes are active, there's tension to support the knees. You can find depth to your own degree. We're going to find an inhale as you're ready to exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, walk or jump back. And again, you can run through the vinyasa if you choose to, or simply lift up the hips for down dog. Inhale, your left leg up. Exhale, low lunge. We ground the back foot. We re-engage the glutes, abs. Pick you up for your warrior two. Again, we re-engage the glutes, slide those shoulders down the back. Remember, to help find depth where it doesn't traumatize the knee too much, again, depending on who you are. You may have to take up way more of your mat than you normally do. And then there'll be an adductor stretch. Re-engage those glutes, lift up for reverse warrior. Then we slide those shoulders down the back, we re-engage the glutes, the abs, as arms are engaged. Good. Now, we straighten out the front leg, tipping forward for your triangle. Remember, you can choose the hand position inside the foot, on top of, or outside. Find length through the spine, re-engaging the glutes, looking down and forward. And again, just noticing how the body will pull itself back into that native flex. Taking the top arm, reaching for the front of the room as you ground to the outer edge of the back foot to the floor. And reaching up for the ceiling again. Re-engage the glutes, those abs to help pull you back up to standing. Pivot the toes around. If you feel too wide, simply bring your feet back in. Inhale, lift and open. Exhale, fold forward. Want to be careful that you don't shove all the way back into the heels. And you'll know that you did that if it's really super easy to lift the toes up. If it's really easy to lift the toes up, you just shift some of that weight forward again, unlocking those knees, re-engaging the legs, and then going into your fold. You might find that feels different for the body. You're going to slide the shoulders down the back, lift up the tail. And inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Now we're just going to pivot around towards the front again. And remember, this causes us to take a longer stance and a more narrow stance. So you'll need to bring your right foot in and then out to the right to come off that balance knee and find something a little bit wider. When you do finally get into this forward fold, you can shift back into that right foot, lifting and opening your right hip around. Again, we're just seeing what's there. Then you can take your weight forward slightly into the front leg, take your left hip or your right hip down and around to get a bigger hold on your left hip. And remembering if you do need to have that block or a water bottle to help bring that floor closer to you so you can get the legs straight. Definitely don't be afraid to use props. Now, bring your hands in front of your foot in prayer position. Re-engage the glutes, those abs, glutes, abs. Help pull you back up to standing. Exhale, interlacing the hands back behind your back. Then pick up your right heel, ground over your left leg to find toppling tree. And again, we want to engage the glutes. Maybe those arms are really high. Maybe they're bent and going high up the back. Or you just need to release them and place them on the sacrum. And finding that toppling tree. That right leg is engaged, the entire leg, from the glutes down through the thigh, down through the foot. Driving that tension from the glute to the foot, not the other way around. And release the hands to the floor for your standing splits. And again, we want equal footing from front to back. Slide the shoulders down the back. Re-engaging those glutes. And then bringing your right foot to meet the left and fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Arms out to the side, moving through the half lift. Contracting the shoulder blades, squeeze those cheeks, push the hips forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, walk or jump back. So you can do this from your toes to your knees, and all we're going to do is lower all the way down to the floor. Then you're just going to take the arms by the side and turn your head to one side or the other. I just have to lower the camera a little bit so you can see me a little better. Okay, so we're going to look at the floor now. So we're going to turn the head around. We engage the glutes, tensing up the legs, but the legs stay on the floor, okay? We're going to lift up the torso, the arms come up. We're going to open up the shoulders. When you open up the shoulders properly, that in and of itself will lift up the torso higher, okay? It's not about thumbs to the ceiling. It's about recognizing what your range of motion inside your shoulder socket is. We do want to look at the floor. Of course, we're engaging the glutes, drawing the belly in. That won't restrict the height. And release. Turn your head to the other side. Then we're going to look at the floor again. You're going to bring your arms out to shoulder height. You re-engage the glutes, tensing the legs. Slide those shoulders down the back, contract the shoulder blades towards each other. And we do now lift up the legs, lift up the arms. Talking the chin. Again, we're not dropping the head, but we're taking that crease out of the back of the neck. And please turn your head to one side or the other. Okay, so we're gonna bend your left leg, getting a hold of it with the left hand. You're gonna take your right hand, place the elbow underneath the shoulder and prop you up. Okay? You're gonna use your left leg to pull on the right arm. You're engaging the glutes to help with this move. I'm doing single leg step today to make it not so hard. And release. You're gonna bring your left arm underneath the left arm, or elbow underneath the left shoulder. Bend your right knee, getting a hold of the right foot. Again, we don't want to sag in the shoulder. You do want to push the floor away. Getting out of that shoulder socket, engaging the glutes, using the strength of your leg to pull on the arm. And release. And then just resting, turning your head to one side or the other. And now you're going to take your hands underneath your shoulders, curl your toes under, pressing up to a tabletop, but we're just going to transition to standing on your knees. So if you need extra padding under your knees, please get it. And I'm just going to turn to the side. Now, whether your tops of your feet are on the floor or you curl the toes under is up to you. If the wrists and the shoulder mobility allow for your fingers to go up, allow them to go up. If they don't, take the hands down or just the hands on the waist. Okay? We engage the glutes, we open up the chest, push the hips forward. Just finding when your back bend happens to be. And release. Go ahead and coming on out. We uncurl the toes, taking the feet a bit wider. Sitting in between the feet. And then taking the hands back, tuck the tail under, then we pop those hips back up. This way it makes hero less horrible. Okay? We don't want to sag at the shoulder. We want to make sure that we're pushing out of the shoulders so there's integrity for the shoulders. Glutes are still active because we're stretching the opposing muscle group. You can twist around if you need to twist around. And release. Now we're going to take our knees and our feet together. We're just going to sit on our feet. Okay? Now we're going to inhale, bringing the arms up. Exhale, we're using abdominal strength to help take you over. It's kind of like a swan dive. And taking the head to the floor. Now you're going to use the strength of those abdominals to help pull you back out of that position called turtle. Then releasing. So we're going to take the hands back behind you. Okay? You're going to chin, we're rounding back over. And as we go over, if your heels are available to you, you just grab the heels. So we're not placing the forehead on the floor, we're trying to bring the crown of the head to the floor. It's not to place your full body weight, it's just to place some weight on the crown of the head. Maybe lift up the hips. Like my hips don't go very high because my torso is long and my arms are short, so I don't have a lot of range of motion here. And release, coming out of your posture. Crossing the ankles and sitting all the way back. Hugging the knees in towards your chest. Feeling free to run through a happy baby posture. Remember, when you run through happy baby, you can grab the outsides of the feet, the insides of the feet, your toes. You can push the sacrum down to the floor. You take the legs out to the side or straight. If they don't go straight, why do you have to hold your foot? Just let go of your feet in order to get them straight. And then you can take the hands to the insides of the legs and do overpressure that way. Of course, you can rock anything that you feel that you need to do. Now, feet go down to the floor. You're going to take your right leg, cross it over your left leg, making sure that your feet stay on the floor. And you're going to, or at least your left foot, and you're going to drop the knees to the right. My intention is the bottom leg, that corner, going around to the back. Okay. You are a shoveler. That got used like crazy. Okay. So you may have to go in and out of this gently. And release. Coming back to center. We release the cross, hugging the knees in towards the chest. We wiggling those hips around. Feet go back down to the floor, taking your left leg over your right leg, and taking the knees to the left. And of course, one side will be a little tighter, maybe more consistent. This is way back in and out of the stretch. Now you're going to come back towards center, hugging the knees back and towards the chest, wiggling those hips around. Feet go back down to the floor, crossing your right leg over your left leg. This time you drop to the left. Now I'm starting to emphasize the top leg. It's a different portion of that gluteus into the hip. You can take that right hand or the left hand to the right leg. Help you twist to the right, help you twist. And release, coming back to center. Hugging those knees in towards the chest, wiggling those hips around. back down to the floor, taking left over right and dropping to the right. And again, we're easing into this movement. And release. Come back to center. Releasing the cross, hugging both knees and towards the chest, wiggling those hips again. Feet go back down to the floor. Cross your right ankle right above the left knee. Picking up the left leg, reaching through that whole right leg made. You want to find length through the spine. As you bring that knee in, there'll be a natural stop in order to keep the knee, in order to keep the sacrum on the floor actually. Take the knee off to the left, exploring those different options, those different angles. Those muscle fibers have different fiber orientation. And release. Now you're just going to take the left leg ankle right above the right knee, bringing in your right leg. You're going to slide those shoulders down the back. And exploring those different options. And release, hugging the knees in towards the chest again. Now, feet are going to go on the floor about hips width apart. So what we're going to do with glute bridge first is that we're going to make it dynamic, but we want to make it into a moving meditation. Okay? So however you want to have the arms is fine. So when we lift, we want to inhale on the lift. And then as you exhale, you lower. So don't worry about where I'm at in my movement, where you're at in your movement. Just worry about where you're at. Okay? So we want this to be fairly slow on the way up for the inhale, but even slower on the way down and a slower exhale. You still squeeze the glutes right up at the top? Yes. Now, when you do find your inhale and you are in the up position, you're just going to pause and interlace the hands underneath you if that's available. And if it's available, you can scooch And release the hands, lower the hips, hugging the knees in towards the chest. So now we're going to hug your right knee in towards your chest as you send the left leg all the way out to the floor. Left hand to the outside of the right leg, extending the right arm out. Palm is up, taking the knee across the body. And you're not forcing this stretch. Finding what that end range happens to be as you do rotate to the right to anchor into stretch. And coming back to center, hugging the knees, once again in towards the chest, wiggling those hips around. Hugging left knee towards your chest as you send the right leg all the way down to the floor. Right hand to the outside of the left leg, extending left arm out, palm is up, taking the knee across the body. And release. Come back to center. Hugging both knees in towards the chest, wiggling those hips one last time. Now, if shoulder stand or plow is a movement you would like to end with before Shavasana, feel free. If it's not, and you would rather come up to seated forward fold, feel free as well. If neither one of those poses sounds appetizing, you're just simply ready for Shavasana, feel free to simply just move into Shavasana. And as you're ready and as you find your Shavasana, again, whatever this looks like, it might be flat on your back, or Supta Baddha, where the soles of the feet are touching and the knees are open. Maybe the feet are flat on the floor, about as wide as the mat, and letting the knees fall in. Maybe you're on your side, maybe you're on your belly, it doesn't really matter. It's a place where you can take these last few moments that are still yours, allowing the mind and the body to acclimate to all the changes. And begin to bring awareness back to your breath, back to your body. Wiggling your toes and your fingers, the ankles, the wrists. Bringing your arms up overhead for that nice big stretch as you come back into your space. Hugging your knees in towards your chest. Rolling either to the right or to the left. Then coming up to a comfortable seated position, eyes are soft and closed, sealing your practice. Ending your week, starting your weekend, relaxed, refreshed, and ready to take it on. So thank you for coming and have a wonderful weekend. Namaste.
Thank you, Christy.
Thank you, Christy.